So, my interest in cars, I think came, like a lot of people, came from my parents. Both sides of the family have always been passionate about cars, mostly European. Um, and for me, my interest in Ferrari came from, um, I'm a product of the 80s. And one of my favorite shows actually was Miami Vice, which featured what of all things but a Ferrari, and actually a couple of them. And when I was young, when I was, I'd say about 10 years old, my parents and I went to a casino just outside of Tunica in Mississippi. And lo and behold, the car that was sitting out front, and I remember this very vividly, it was awe-inspiring looking at this thing. It was brand new at the time, was a 360 in red, Rosa Corsa, and it was sitting out front, Valley parked, and I just, my eyes bulged out, and it was just, the car was just magical to me. And I thought, well, you know, if ever I'm in a position to afford it, I would love to have one of these. One interesting little story about this car. I've driven this car through every kind of weather you can imagine, and I remember very vividly this one Cars and Coffee event that I went to back in 2017. It was in middle part of December, early to mid-December, and you know, I didn't check the weather. I didn't check the weather beforehand. It didn't occur to me to do that. But it was early Saturday morning. Went out, and I think it was the first time I had ever been early to this event. And I show up, and you know, there's nobody there. And I think, oh, well, okay, well, I'll just wait around a little while and, you know, wait for other people to roll in. You know, wait another 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe one or two cars trickle in, and there are photographers for the event came over, and they were taking all kinds of pictures of the car, and they were in awe that I brought it out, because as it turns out, they were anticipating a heavy snowstorm. I had no idea, and the guy who put on the show, he was saying, you know, you're very brave for coming out here today. I said, well, really, thanks. And he said, well, you know, I'd recommend that you maybe we wrap this up in the next few minutes and you start heading back. He said, how far of a drive do you have? I said, well, it's about 30 minutes. He said, yeah, I'd recommend you get started soon, because you know, the snow had started falling, and it was cooling down. It was in the 30s, and you know, they got a couple of nice shots, and they got a couple of nice shots as the snow is decorating the car. But you know, we took off. We went home, and along the way, sure enough, you know, we hit a blizzard, and it got a little bit hairy, you know, but lo and behold, this car got me home, and it performed admirably for what it is. It's supposedly a very temperamental car that doesn't take kindly to even the slightest bit of cool or damp weather. I've never experienced that. Like I said, I've driven this car through every kind of weather you can imagine, and it's held up pretty well. So you know, it's quite a remarkable car. But the caption, the tag on the picture for that day of the show in Hunt Valley, it said "Snow Ferrari" was the hashtag, and I thought, well, you know, that's a pretty good hashtag. I think I'll use that, and so I created an Instagram page, and that's what I call it, Snow Ferrari. So in terms of modifications, when I picked up the car, it was mostly stock. The only thing that I've really done, the main modification that I've done to this car is replacing the exhaust. I put in a 2B system, which it's takes, in terms of sound, it's on a whole nother level. What modifications I might do in the future? To be honest, I don't really think that I will be modifying it anymore. The car doesn't really need any further tweaks or changes. You know, there is no other car like the Ferrari. There is no other car that looks like a Ferrari. There's no other car that sounds like a Ferrari. It is a showstopper. It is a stunner no matter where you go. It's just right.